date.
You made this for him, I think.
Oh, pardon me. Call the meeting to order and start off with pledge allegiance.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America. Stand one nation under God, liberty and justice for all.
Okay. This evening we have Amy Peak, myself, Russ Edwards, Joe Marco, and our administrative assistant, Melissa Prunier. So we're all good on that. The whole plan for tonight is to start working on the budget for the 2023 year. And looking at our town budget, we've got different things coming close to using up what we've got. And wasn't my thing buzzing, I guess. We just kind of need to start looking at this as for money's left over, and if we've got, I had a couple questions. Are we going to end up going over budget on any categories? And then,
as I'm looking at it, I was worried about the dump, but I think we'll be fairly good on it. So I mean, if we wanted to bump it 1,000, that would be because of the fuel surcharges and everything. But we're going to be a little better off than I thought.
we might have to raise it a little bit.
Yeah.
Much.
Yeah.
Yeah. I have gotten stuff from Joe Bulio on different things for highway stuff.
Let's start on the highway.
Okay. The Brighton Road Bridge, or culvert really was what it is. Joe either was contacted or did contact Hanson Bridge, and they've given him a quote to do a repair job, not just this,
Right.
not the rebuild. And it comes into, let's see, 89, 99, about 102,000. And I think what we've got in the Bridge Capital Reserve Fund is close to 200,000.
Right.
So we could do this and still have money in that
Well,
fund.
it's good because the Boulder Vale Bridge is going to be the next one on there. It's got a
Yep.
hole that keeps coming out and culvert under.
So we can get this one taken care of first and then see about the next one.
So we'll get Hanson to do one on.
So I'll talk to Joe about this, and then I need to get clarification from him on the budget numbers he got for the different paving stretches.
Right, yeah, he said
Cash Street and
he
stuff.
said he had a couple to give to us.
Yep.
He had he had a list of the culverts, if we were to do Cash Street, the culverts that were needed, and, I told him to get together at his time and
Yep.
part money and everything on that to go forward there.
Right. And, got a good start on getting the budget items on that.
Okay.
It's-
I have one for, I to make a motion that we discuss giving Joe Jr. an extra $1 raise due to the fact of his abilities, keeping him in line, in line with other places on people with disabilities, and the work that he's done several times this year. He's run the unit by himself. And I mean, in addition to the regular percentage. I think he's well deserving of it. And they've been quite, they could. I talked to Joe. Joe himself is good with, regular percentage raise and stuff. But he's interested in getting Junior a little more. And I asked him.
Prior to,
No, for the.
as part of the budget.
As part of the budget.
Yeah, okay. Because I think that's one thing we need to figure out is where the different salaries come from in the different
Right.
buckets, because we've got some that are under executive, some are in the election. Carl's under the transfer station.
Right.
So I want to look at all of them and we'll try to figure out what's going to be the appropriate amount to increase for this year. Because everything's gone up.
Yeah. Oh, I know, and I really wouldn't, but to retain somebody with those abilities, it's well worth it.
Yes, there's no doubt about that. I've got a couple things I do that I think we need to do some investigation on, and I just don't have the time to do all of it. So what I want to do is pass some of it out. I've got the one from New London Hospital. That's just listing what the ambulance is. That's pretty straightforward. West Central is one of those vendor charities that we deal with. Southwest Community Service is another one. But we've got the visiting nurses, but we got stuff from a separate visiting nurse association this time, request. So I was going to say, one of you take that and look at it. I got to talk to Joe about that. That's a road salt. I'm going to have to catch up with him. Now, that's the ambulance. Estimated income. If we have questions on what we've spent on, I've got, as of the end of August, all the payments we've made, so we could double check. It's just that it's so many pages, I didn't know if everybody wanted a copy of that. I didn't need that really. Okay, Lake Sunapee Visiting Nurse Association and Hospice. There's the other stuff to talk with Joe about for the road. The Primex notification came today. West Central. Here it is. We've got the Lake Sunapee region visiting nurse, and then there's Dartmouth Health, which is the Vermont visiting and hospice for Vermont and New Hampshire. Two separate ones. And I was going to say,
I see what's up.
the one we've been normally dealing with.
This one we've been dealing with for years.
Right. And I just don't know if these are serving us or not.
Right.
So
Right.
if one of you two want
I
to
will
take it.
contact Anthony and see what's what. I will contact him tomorrow.
Okay. And with the Primex stuff, what I'd like to do is give this to one for you to look over to start with, just to see any changes. How to sign into our account, because there's a 75-page document that talks about all the changes that have been made.
Oh.
I wasn't going to print that out. And then try to figure out, is that the same page I gave you? Yes, okay, so I still got a copy of that. All right. Angela, question for you or for Melanie?
I'm learning. So that's right.
Okay, so this is great. I got this in the box for the first time. It says Town Treasurer's Monthly Report. Have you always been providing them?
That one says revised, right?
Yeah, revised.
Yeah, so, yeah, those are provided every month. The admin usually goes through and matches the deposit vouchers that the town clerk does, along with your copies of the payment vouchers, matches those up to make sure that we've captured everything that you guys have captured.
Okay, so this really was for the administrative assistant.
Right, I had given Charlene July, August, and September, but I had an open question about what a deposit was gonna be for that I was waiting to hear back from Melanie, and so when I got that, it did change one of the allocations of that, so I was driving by and threw it in the box instead of coming inside and putting it on the desk, so. But yeah, so Charlene has been matching those up or so, is it Melissa? So that's part of what you would end up doing now.
So I'm gonna give this to you, and then we'll figure out between you and I and Charlene how that's working out, what we should be doing with it, but it looks like those would be helpful when we're sitting down doing the budgeting, because we can see what's happened month to month a little bit.
Only really income-wise.
Oh, that's income.
That's all the details on the rows are all the weekly deposits.
Oh, okay.
For town clerk, tax collector, and solicitor. The vouchers themselves are just a one lump sum total for the month, so.
Wouldn't zero in on the area.
No.
The other thing that I've had difficulty dealing with in the past, and I spoke to you about it at one point, is this breakdown to use at the town. I think Charlene puts this together, but it's pretty much what's in the town report. Isn't matching up with what the DRA website has for some of the accounts. And if we could get ours to match theirs, then it makes the process of filling out some of the forms and stuff much easier. So.
Yeah, because like that form, I don't have anything to do with that. But when you gave me the DRAs, listed accounts and everything, so our QuickBooks file has those account numbers that line up with the DRA numbers. So doing a profit and loss for QuickBooks should give you what those groupings are.
Mhm.
Anything that didn't have an account number or anything that was a different account number, I changed based on the DRA report that you gave me.
So I think probably the best thing on that is to get, I think it's the 232, the 535, and the 434 forms, because those are what the planned expenditure was, what the actual expenditures were, and the estimated income. Those are the three separate files that have to get produced during the year. And if we use those in comparison, then we'll be able to have a better handle on it, because Charlene puts this together. This is just an Excel spreadsheet. And it matches up, like I said, the columns that are on the page in the town report. All well and good, but it makes it a little bit difficult figuring out where some of the stuff is. Because under executive, you have some wages there. Under election, you've got wages. Under sanitation, you got the highway department wages. And it's not always easy to figure out what the impact is if you give a certain percentage raise to everybody, but because it's all broken up separately.
Right.
So what I need to,
Like in QuickBooks, I've got kind of a general budget, but like, for example, transfer stations. So as of Tuesday, we spent a total of $48,793.24. Of that, $7,908.88 is wages, and $41,884.36 is everything else. The budget line for the entire transfer station was $67,500.
right.
But in this one report, the profit and loss budget versus actual, you see both of those.
And what's the ending date on that?
Tuesday.
Tuesday. Okay. Last Tuesday. Okay.
Yeah,
I don't know what day it is.
Cool.
Oh, you're
It's
not
been
the
a
only
very
one.
long week. 2 months.
Just join the club.
That's right.
Yeah, my week hasn't stopped. There was a
tax deadline today.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
So like, here's the transfer station that I'm talking about.
Yep.
You have these two categories. These are the actual expenditures. This is what the budget was. So you see the total budget here, and then the two breakouts here.
Yep.
And then this is how we're doing as a comparative there.
So
So
We're fine.
we're under budget.
Her numbers are better than what I'm looking at
oh,
on there.
I'm not
Yeah,
surprised.
no. Yeah.
So,
But so
yeah.
I'm just thinking, like, I don't know how this report would help you in things versus something else or whatnot. I'm just showing you the different things that
Well, I think
we
it
have
would, because it
access to.
separates the
Right.
wage. That's the big one that we.
Yeah,
have
and
issue
all the
with.
wages have their own lines
Right.
because even though like election wages are under the category of like personnel administration or something like that,
Financial
personnel wages and election wages are two separate lines, because I'm like, why not track it? Well, one, it was already started that way when I started or whatnot. I just moved the location based on making Charlene happier about where something was. And the auditors were changing it too, so I made it a subcategory. But I'm like, there's no reason to not have a election wages line and just lump them all in. I mean, it's a whole separate thing.
Right, well, we have a separate category for elections because it varies per year. Like this year, we will have 3 elections.
Yeah,
Next year, we'll have 1.
yeah,
So the value that we have to plug in, we don't put the 3,000 or 4,000 in, we put it back to 1,000. So that way, it goes up and down, but we understand why.
yeah.
And then just trying to figure out what the wages are in there, it didn't make any sense where it was coming from and so forth.
Yeah, that one's fairly easy. And
Yeah,
set
that-
amounts for that one, but it's like, you guys. And
Yeah, however many hours Christie's working,
Right.
how many hours Charlene's filling in for
Right.
Christie and
Yeah.
whatnot.
Yeah.
So I mean, for us, it's slightly a little harder because Christie, Charlene, me, Mel, and you guys, then whenever at the end of the year, when you guys get paid, we're all under personnel administration.
Mhm.
So
All
that's
around.
one, yeah, that's one category for all of us. But I mean, it's
Now, will
when
they?
you guys only get paid once a year, so
Right.
until December or so, we know that everything else is the 4 of us, which most of it's Christie.
But I mean, it'll show how much out of that account has been spent on wages to that point.
Right.
Okay,
Yep.
yeah, because
Yep.
we
So-
don't need the detail down to who, we just need the departments.
Yeah, and like Ed is under general government wages for the cleaning and
Maintenance and
stuff.
stuff.
So yeah, so right now, there's been election wages of $2,160 and personnel administration wages of $23,936.63. So every single one of those is broken down. I've got highway in here,
Mhm.
Yeah,
Ed for cleaning,
yeah, I'd like one of them.
transfer station. So, yeah, so I mean, we could give this to you guys anytime that you want.
I'd like one.
Do you
Yeah.
want it like, monthly when we finish out the month, or
Because we're gonna be
6
working.
months or quarterly or?
Well, I think what's gonna be most helpful is we really need it when we're doing the budgeting part.
Yeah,
As long as we know people are getting paid, that's fine during the rest of
Yeah.
the year, because
Oh,
it
yeah.
just keeps tracking throughout the different
Right.
sub-departments. But when we're starting to work on the budget and figure out if we're gonna give increases and how much, we need to kind of know, okay, how much have we spent for the total year, how much we got left? Can we afford to go up, or do we have to really keep it tight, or what? So that number at that point, because with the hearing coming up next week, I think our best chance for another budget meeting and select board meeting is going to be, hate to think of it, a regular scheduled one would have been the 8th, or is scheduled for the 8th, but that's going to be election day, so we really can't do much.
how about we do one the week before and one the week after, because we gotta crack down on this budget.
I can't do it on the Tuesday.
That's fine,
First.
but I just meant the week before, the week after days.
Yeah, so I think we can communicate back and forth and figure out what the best date is going to be, because I don't have all my calendar here.
Right. Yeah.
Let's look at home too.
I mean, if somebody has the ability to sign into a computer that's attached to a printer in this building, I can print you this now so that you guys
Well, you
can
should
have
be able
it.
to,
Because I can email, report to myself, get into one of those computers, get into my email and print it, but I can't hook this up to a printer here.
right,
It's not hooked up to anywhere.
right. Yeah, we can get just the select board computer that's right in the office there is connected to the printer. We can do that.
Okay, yeah, if you want to do that, like, at some point, I can print that out tonight for you guys to be able to have, to just look at, to get started on before your next meetings.
Select board Croydon hotmail. And then I can print it out down here, or I can print it out at home, or anybody.
Yeah, I didn't think about your email, so. I was gonna send it to myself, but log into my email and print.
No, just make it easy, send it that way, because then we can print it off as needed and go from there. One of the other things we need to start thinking about is warrant. As far as I've been able to identify so far, we're going to need a warrant to take the funds that Joe got from the sale of the grader and put that in a highway or the equipment capital reserve fund.
Mm-hmm.
We'll have the warrant to take the funds that we get from the sale of the property, Cash Street and South Beach, and put that in the Bridges Capital Reserve
Just
Fund.
on a quickie, have you heard anything more on South Beach?
I haven't heard from yet. He is on the road a lot, I guess, or something. I emailed him. I had to go back and forth a little bit between the lawyer and getting information from him. So as soon as I hear something, I'll make sure we know. And it may be a kind of a short, quick session where we have a meeting so we can do the closing. And then the latest thing is the bridge culvert repair warrant. But I'd like you to both think about other things that we need to have.
That we've already, we've already got, that's what it's in the account for is bridge.
Well, I know, but we have to write a separate warrant to actually get the money out.
Oh, after repair, I thought you meant to hold off on the repair.
No, I'm not talking about,
Oh, yeah, because that's like go up by then.
I'm gonna I'll talk to Joe more about it. We'll find out if, when that wants to be scheduled and stuff, and if they'll accept the fact that it's gonna have to be a warrant to pay for it and stuff, and it can't be paid for until, after town meeting.
I don't understand. It's just like when we had the equipment fund money, we didn't need approval to spend it because that's what it was in the account for.
Yeah, but it has to go before town meeting as a warrant.
But it's already in the account for doing a bridge.
The warrants have to explicitly state how much is coming out. That's part of the checks and balances. The DRA won't let us
It's a
just take the
reserve,
money.
right? Is it a reserve?
It's in a capital reserve fund.
It's capital reserve.
But the trustees of the trust fund have to have an authorization, not in this case, it has to be a warrant saying that we're authorized to spend.
Well, yeah, just like with the tracker, but I mean, we don't have to wait on it.
Well, we need to double check that they'll accept that.
Yeah. Because I mean, it'll go up by then.
Well, I know, but this bid was talking about half of it up front and half of it later, so we need to do more communication on it. But I'm just trying to highlight the fact we have these warrants that we've got to put together.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure if there's many other ones too. How many did we have last year?
Well, we're gonna have, so far, we're gonna have 3 from the planning board.
Three from the planning board?
At least. We may be having more. But we're gonna do the master plan, the site plan, and the subdivision regs, because we can do those with hearings and they don't have to go to warrant articles. The items for warrant articles are gonna be for permit fee increasing and.
I'd suggest you pass these things before the municipal.
I've been busting on them to get it into into gear. We're working on it.
Okay,
We have them
because-
all.
Because I know there's certain dates and times.
Yeah, we have to have November 1st, the first one in November is probably going to be setting everything up.
So there'll be the typical one for the cemetery maintenance and repairs. Depending
How
upon,
much well, I was approached by a resident today, and I haven't talked to him much about it. I'm going to go up this week and talk a little more. She's been doing some work at two of the town-owned cemeteries that are not maintained, and as the least I know she would like the town to do is to identify the cemeteries. However, if
she's probably already talking to Steve and she's talking to Susan as well.
yeah, probably lives up on Fletcher.
I think so.
Yeah,
And
so I'm gonna,
they're the ones that are responsible for that because those are the trustees.
right, no, but we would have to increase the money if it needs to be increased, if
Right.
that needs to take over. I'm
Yeah.
just bringing that to light,
Yeah.
because you said it'd be the normal one for the cemeteries. That may not end up being, because it is a town cemetery, we have the responsibility to maintain it.
Right.
And those two haven't been for a while.
And I guess there's debate whether they were ever accepted at the town.
They're on the list.
They're on the list. Hey,
I'll check,
Well,
check again.
Let's let
Yeah.
Steve and Susan work. It doesn't have to be our job.
The one on Fletcher is fine.
There's two, supposedly there's two on Fletcher. One is actually Brighton Cemetery. And then then there's another Fletcher. I went up and the only one I know of is the one next to her place.
Yes, right next to
And-
the road, to clean it
Yeah.
all up.
Yeah, a little tiny one she cleaned up.
Clean
and
up on
stuff.
that would just be blowing the leaves every year. It doesn't grow grass on it.
Yeah, no, that wouldn't be bad. And then she has another one, because I said the one in front of Mark's, and she's like, no, there's another one.
Okay, well, right now, there's two different groups that are busy discussing this, us and the trustee.
Oh, I know. The only
So-
reason I brought it up is because we can't set the amount until
Right.
it's handled.
So what I'm saying is, in order to get this accomplished, we're gonna need to have a group meeting on that at some
Yeah.
point to figure it out.
Yeah.
Because she wasn't satisfied with the answer she got one place, so she's looking other places. So
Right.
we don't want to duplicate effort that's already been done. Capital reserve fund for the bridges, we may not have to put money in there if we're getting it from the sale of the pieces of property. So that would take $25,000 off of the total budget, which would be good. We still need to put the money away for the town-wide reeval. Town vehicles, we could probably reduce the amount going into that as per the separate from taxes by the 12,000 that came from the grader. 8 was pieces of properties being sold. That was. So once we get down to, sorting through the warrants and the totals, then we can look and see if we feel there's enough money to do all of the roads that Joe spotted on his, or just one or three, or whatever combination. So I'll be talking to Joe on this. I was having a hard time sorting out what it all came down to. Because they list different amounts, but they don't list a real total. I was gonna either talk to Joe, see if he got more information, or call these people and see if I get a better idea of what we need to conceivably budget for. Because we've still got the loan for Lovern Hill.
Okay, well,
Which one are you looking at?
Well, I was actually looking at, the thing that I was questioning is, the 8,000 feet. Do you have to go that far? I mean, because from Norman's to the bottom of the hill is pretty decent shape. Plus, there's a 36-inch culvert in that section that would constitute more because we'd have to, A, get the bigger culvert and the machine to put it in.
Yep.
And stuff. So if we could stop it like about, well, I forget the new people's name, but Norman's old place. Stop about there, because from there to the bottom of the hill at the S-turns, it's pretty decent. I mean, and that's the front section by the library. I mean, her trailer came unhooked. That's not good. We could be liable if somebody's trailer comes unhooked and runs through somebody's house.
Well, like I said, I need.
Yeah, I mean, we can
we
cut
need to
that.
get better
Yeah, we
numbers
could
for
cut
this
that
because-
88 down and cut the price way down even. Because that doesn't include the culverts and there's work that goes to it, to that section. But yeah, 8,000 feet, that's almost the whole thing, almost. Mile and a half.
There's one, and it's probably a culvert, I think it's in front of the McKinney property, there's one dip there.
I think that's-
So from that to the beginning of the road is the
Yeah.
bad part, after that.
Yeah.
It's pretty nice.
Yeah.
But those dips are what, flick your trailer and my mower.
Right.
will come up. And I go slow on that, you have to go slow on that road.
So yeah, I mean, we can get that one cut down, get a measurement on distance, because that's probably half that.
Well, like I said, I need to get better
Yeah.
numbers because these,
Yeah.
these are bits and pieces of figuring
What's
out.
that one? Oh, that one's,
This is,
that's continuing cash.
well, you've got Ryder Corner and Old Spring.
Oh, that's
Road,
right. Yeah.
Because he thought they were gonna get
Right.
it done from the other town.
Yeah,
If it's
Sunapee
going
haven't
to-
told them yet.
So
When he
if they
talked to
do it, then it becomes less expensive because
Right.
they already got the equipment there.
Yeah.
But I'm confused how because the intersection of Cash Street, Reed's Mill, I think that's just the intersection right there.
Yeah, because the road, Reed's Mill right there is state.
Right. Well, I know Reed's
Yeah.
State, but it looks like there was some sections on that triangle that need to be fixed. And then the Cash Street is from Pine Hill up to where we decide. So that may not be as expensive.
Yeah, yeah.
But
I don't think
instead of,
8,000 feet.
the way they show this, they show, the cost of one thing, the cost of another, the cost of another. I'd like to see a bottom line as well.
Yeah.
Because otherwise we're always having to add it all up, trying to figure out what we're really talking about for the bottom line on these.
Yeah.
So those I will chat with Joe as well. Southwest Community, that's another one of those vendors, so those aren't too bad. I think what we need to figure out now is when we can do a budget meeting, and you're working on that, you're working on that. I'm gonna work at, a number of these other items that are coming in as more stuff shows up at this time, because I expect to be hearing from, I actually think I heard from Health Trust as to what the cost would be if we had any employees having town health insurance. We have a placeholder policy so that if we needed to put somebody on a program, it's already there. I also wanted to make sure we got in touch with Hanover Dispatch to find out if there's going to be a cost increase for next year. And there's a number
And a
of
date
other.
on the tower.
Hmm?
And a date on the tower.
Well, I think, when are they going to build that building?
Well, that's what I mean, the date on the tower. They gotta know, we don't know anything. Last I heard.
Well, no, I'm not talking about doing anything like that 8,000, just the standard cost for
Oh,
dispatch.
no. I'm saying when you talk to them, you
Oh.
can ask about the tower.
Gotcha.
Yeah, you can ask them for a date on the tower, date it's gonna function.
You want me to call this? Do you want me to do it?
I'll send you the info, Doug's contact, so forth. Okay. I did just get a email from Sullivan County. They're looking to see if they could come to a select board meeting sometime in the future to kind of tell us what the county's up and to kind of explain where our monies that we send to the county get spent on. I'll try to get that copied out to both of you because it just came today. And then let's figure out what we need from our financial people and when's going to work out to be a convenient time for all three of us. 3, 4, 5, 6, whatever it turns out to be. Today's the 17th. The rest of this week is full. The 25th, we've got the hearing. What's your schedule look like other than?
Other than the 25th, I don't know, we'll
Yeah.
see. So it just, whatever you guys can do, I can work around.
What's good times for you in the evenings?
7 is good for me.
Okay, so what have I got? Nothing special there. The first I can't because I've got another meeting that's already scheduled. Today's 17th. Wednesday, the 2nd, is when Jasper wants to do his meeting of the election team. So that doesn't work.
Well, actually, that's not good. What time?
Yeah, something like that.
Why don't we do it that here? You know, it ain't gonna take long. Jasper's meeting is 40.
That's an email from him. I'm not suspecting it here. November 2nd at 6. So yeah, if we do a meeting right after that, like you said, you'd already be here. That'd be good. Okay. Okay. That'll make that a little bit better because then we're not delaying too awful long.
Right.
Let us talk a little bit and figure out if we need you at that one. Other than that, getting the report from Angela may be our best tool right at that point.
Okay, I'll just put a space in there so I know, just in case we need. That sounded like on my calendar, just in case. I know.
Just in case.
Yeah. I've sent them that report, I'm just actually sending year-to-date expense details as well, so you can see every expense in each account if you wanted to.
Okay.
That was like 18 pages long, so don't just instantly hit print.
That's like the one I've got.
Yeah,
now.
like that one, yeah.
But this one's a couple months old now.
Right, yeah, this is all as of October 11th. Because obviously you haven't done the vouchers for tomorrow and stuff.
Right,
So,
right.
the reports say 12/31 on them, but that's just because the budget's in there for the year.
Yep.
And so in order to get the budget to show, it has to say 12/31. But the actual date that the report stuff is until is.
Okay, because
10, 11, 22.
yeah, because having that with just like 2 months left of the year gives us a pretty good idea of how much we'll end up spending and then needing to determine if we need to increase any item for next year. So that ought to be pretty good. So. And I figured that select board meeting, so we take care of other stuff that's coming through too.
Yeah.
So that'll be pretty good. Any other questions at this point on budget that we want to delve into, or wait till we do the budget meeting? Next meeting?
Wait till we can see her. She's
Okay.
got the magic numbers. I mean, that answers so many questions, just like I'm
Right.
actually relieved on sanitation by her numbers.
I like data.
Yeah.
I got that.
Yes.
Estimates are fine when you're standing on a street corner, but when you're crunching numbers, it doesn't quite work.
And when you're telling the voters, we want X amount of thousands of dollars, we've got to be able to figure out why we want it and explain where it's going and stuff. So.
Especially after last year.
I
You
don't.
have the ramifications of what was not even for reading.
Yeah.
I would love to say that we won't increase the budget. I wonder if we do it under 10% this year, but don't know. You know, let's.
I don't know, with the
I think
greater money
it's a
going
good
back,
goal to work
it's really close, because we got 2 or 3 that are, way down.
Yep, because we've had a number of things happen that are bringing money in, which is good. So that's going to help balance things out so that we don't have to take taxpayer money to go into the capital reserve funds. So, all righty, but we've got a date set. I've got stuff. You've got stuff.
You're gonna email me?
Yep, stuff for Doug, and then at some point I'll get together with you and show you how to do the login to Primex, so you
Okay.
can see that stuff.
Yep.
Because comparing last year to this year is what's printed there, but
Right.
we may have questions that we want to look at in that whole 75-page document. I can't believe they had that many changes, but.
I will come down tomorrow and pull the card, so we have this at the next meeting.
Okay,
We can go through. I mean, it's good to go and stuff.
okay, I'll leave that here.
Yeah.
I do thank you, Angela and Melanie, for coming.
Yeah, I was gonna say, so it sounds like you're moving on to other things. Can I go home?
So we need to figure out how we can switch from what Charlene's produced to what's something that can come out of QuickBooks easily.
But you said you can email us that, right? We can print
Yeah,
it.
I already emailed that budget versus actual, and I'm thinking even if we just collapse, a profit and loss, that it's out.
Pretty close.
That, because I work off that green sheet of paper when I put the budget in.
Oh, yeah.
So, because that's all I got.
So you've got the information on that select board information, how to sign into that account. The select board Croydon@hotmail.com.
No, I don't.
I do, she doesn't.
No, you didn't give it to me.
I didn't. Okay, I will email you that as well. I thought I had, maybe I
You made it to
Melissa.
while you were gone, which is cool, because the outlet puts it up on.
And I added your other Yahoo
Yeah.
Witchbot account too to that.
I've had too much trouble with the other one. I
Yep.
keep getting locked down. Yeah, I'm done. I've had the other one for 30 years, 20 years.
Before we adjourn, I need a question.
Sure.
I need to know what's my next step,
Um,
because as of right now,
Based on what I read, I would
This
send
is
it,
started.
I would send it to the attorney for their opinion, because they're adamantly defying and definitely not gonna do anything.
oh, they have not even,
And they're questioning the RSA's with a rationalization that the state really doesn't give a crap about. Because they're trying to rationalize something. So I personally, I think, I know it's gonna cost, but this whole thing's gonna cost, because they're gonna fight tooth and nail about it. And they need to I mean, part of it is because the person's been there a while and haven't said anything and stuff, and it's pretty much we react to.
Have you given them a copy of the ordinance that says,
I gave him a copy of the ordinance. It says about just like it says in the beginning of the letter. I delivered that, and then the sheriff delivered the rest of the stuff. And this is all about excuses why and everything else, which none of it is actually valid. But I think the way this one's gonna go, it should go to the attorney for,
And I honestly feel that we cannot let this one drop. This is not a safety, this is not a grandmother living in a camper. This is.
yeah, this is gonna turn into an unsavory situation.
well, let me copy this so each of you has a copy. And then we'll have to just add this to our agenda for next meeting.
I don't know, I still think she ought to just, just give an email copy to Jane, see what she thinks
Okay,
too. Because I mean, my answering to it would get us all in trouble.
Mine too.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I need to know the legal way to do this.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I think just prolonging it is just, give it.
okay.
There's gonna be a point where they won't be able to get anything out of it.
Right.
Everything's gonna be-
If we're going to be doing this, we'll probably have to have a non-public session to discuss what the lawyer tells us.
Okay,
Yeah,
So,
okay.
yeah. So whatever we get from there. Are you gonna contact Jane?
yeah,
Okay,
but do you want to copy this letter so you can read it?
I read it, I'm fine.
I read it.
All right, well, I think we accomplished what we were headed for in the start of our budget season, so thank you very much. I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
I make a motion, we adjourn.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Yeah, I really think that's something awesome. I mean, I've got all these
Well, there's like. Yes. They rip wheelies up past my house. They walk my dog. I